Today I'm going to show you how to use two-point perspective to draw a log cabin. Okay, so what I did was I drew my horizon line. I found this point by coming 12 centimeters down from the top. Okay, so just measure 12 centimeters down. I made sure that this line was perfectly straight, and then I drew a line going across the page. Now what I'm doing is I'm finding my vanishing points by coming 1 centimeter in from the edge of the page. So that's vanishing point 1, and the other side is vanishing point 2. Okay. Now I want to see where to put the corner of my building. I'm going to call this my central line, and I'm going to bring it 14 centimeters in from the left edge of the page. So mark your points and draw a line, making sure it's perfectly straight. Now I want to know how high I want this line to be. So I'm going to see how far above and below the horizon line to come, and I'm going to come 3 centimeters below and 3 centimeters above the horizon line. And then we just join these points up. Great. Let's see how wide the building should be. I'm going to go to what I'm calling my center line, which is the corner of the building, and I'm going to come 8 centimeters in from the left and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 centimeters in from the right. So again, 8 centimeters and 5 centimeters. And then making sure that my verticals are dead straight, I just draw a line to meet the top and the bottom of the lines to make the building. So a straight line. Great. So now, this particular cabin has a little gable end, so let's put that in. To get that, we need to find the center point of this particular gable end. To do that, we just join the corners of the shape, and where they meet, that X, make sure you have a dead straight line. You draw a line going straight through that point. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come 3 centimeters, 1, 2, 3 up from the top of that line. This is going to be the top of my roof. And then I join that point to the right and to the left of the shape. Great. Now to get the rest of the roof, what I do is I line it up with the left hand vanishing point and to the apex of the roof, and I draw a line. And to get the slant of it, what I do is I line it up the ruler up with the slant of the roof, and very carefully slide it till it reaches the line of the back wall, and I draw that line. And now we have the basic shape of our building. So you can rub out some of that marks there, like the X. Okay, I'm going to figure out where I want to put my door, and I'm going to do that by coming 2.5 centimeters in from the left line, and I'm going to make my door 1.5 centimeters wide. Again, making sure that my verticals are dead straight. Being careful that I'm actually on the point, I'll just draw my straight lines. Because that's generally where my door is, but I want to bring it down a little bit from the roof, so I'm just going to drop it by coming to my centre line and marking 1 centimeter point from the roof line, join it up with the vanishing point on the left hand side. Now I have the top of the door and also the top of my windows. While I'm at it, I'm going to bring down the roof just a tiny bit more so it looks like it's overhanging the wall a little bit. Now this is just a fraction, just bring it down a little bit, and then you're going to match up the left vanishing point with the bottom of this line that you just drew and draw that line. You can see now that it looks like it's overhanging the building a little bit. It looks a little bit more realistic. To place the windows, I'm going to come in 0.5 centimeter from the left edge of the building, and I'm going to make this window 1 centimeter wide. I'm just going to draw straight lines going down. Okay, so to get the bottom of that window, just what you can do is line it up with your left vanishing point and pivot your ruler down until you're happy with the size. Now I'm going to do it below the vanishing point, or horizon line, beg your pardon, or below that horizon line. And now You have a realistic looking window. So the window on the other side, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in 1.5 centimetres from the door, and I'm going to make the window itself 1.5 centimetres. So just to show you again, that's 1.5 centimetres from the edge of the door, and the window itself is going to be 1.5 centimetres. And just making sure your vertical lines are dead straight. You can do your lines to the top and bottom of your window. Now what I'm going to do now, I've been using a 2B pencil all along, but I'm going to swap over to a 4B pencil just to make my door and my windows a little bit more visible. Right, now I'm going to swap back to my 2B pencil. The 2B pencil is what you use to map in everything lightly first. And the top and the bottom of those windows, what I did was I brought it to the centre line, made a little mark, and now I'm going to join it to the right vanishing point and do 2 lines on the top and the bottom. And this is going to be the top and the bottom of your window for the windows and the right gable end. So I'm going to come in 1 centimetre to start with, and I'm going to make the first window 1.5 centimetres. I'm going to make sure my verticals are dead straight. Draw my vertical. Draw my vertical. And between the windows I'm going to do 1 centimetre, and the second window is going to be 1 centimetre wide. Again, draw my verticals, making sure they're dead straight. Now, with my 4B pencil, I'm just going to outline those correct lines, making sure I have everything lined up with my vanishing points. Now, the windows that are closer to you are larger because they're closer to you, but the ones that are further away are receding, so they're smaller. So the corner of the building is coming at you, so that's why the windows near the corner of the building are bigger, because they're coming at you. Right, so now I want to put some detail into those windows, and I'm going to find the centre point of each window by doing the same X that we did at the gable end of the building. So just join up the corners. And now where those corners meet, and the X, make sure it's a dead straight line, and just do a straight line going down. Again, make sure your verticals are dead straight. That's important in 2-point perspective. Now, to get the horizontal lines, what we need to do is line it up on the lines. The windows that are to the left of your centre line will line up to the left vanishing point, and you make sure that it's in the centre of that X, and you do a line. And the windows that are to the right of the central line, you line up to the right vanishing point and to the centre of that X in each window, and you do a line. Now I'm going to swap over to my 4B pencil just to make this a little bit darker now that I know that the lines are correct. I'm going to make them a little bit wider, so what I'm doing is I'm making sure that the vanishing, or the ruler's lined up with the vanishing point, and making those lines just a little bit wider. Okay, at this point now, I'm going to look at the chimney. I'm just going to use the marks I already have here to do my chimney. I'm going to use the outside of the window to make one line, the centre of the window to be the centre of the chimney, and the right of the window to be the back of the chimney. Now I need to decide how high I want my chimney to be, and to do that I'm going to use the centre line that I just drew there, and I'm going to come up 1 centimetre from the roof. I'm going to make a little mark. Now I'm going to line up anything that's to the left of that centre line to the left vanishing point, okay, and anything to the right of that centre line goes to the right vanishing point, so line it up to the right vanishing point. And now you can rub out your excess lines. Okay, I'm just going to fix up the roof a little bit there now, and I'm going to look at the roof again. So the roof has kind of like a tin kind of lined thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to line up to the gable end of the roof, making sure that the slant is the same. So that's important. You want to keep that slant. And I'm just going to guesstimate. Now, the main thing is that the further away they go from this centre line, the smaller the gap is between those lines. So they get smaller just a little bit as they recede away from you. This will make it look like it's going away. Now I'm going to just make that door frame a little bit wider. Start off with my 2B pencil. And for the horizontals, I'll line it up with my vanishing point. And then I'll go to my 4B pencil and make it a little bit darker. Great. Now the door is a kind of a wooden door, so I'm just going to do wooden slats going down. I'm going to do 4 slats. So that's 3 lines to make 4 slats going down. Great. Now there's kind of like latch lines going across the door. So you line it up with your vanishing point on the left, to the bottom of the latch, or to the top of the latch, to the bottom of the latch. And the same with the one below, the top of the latch. I'm calling it a latch, but it's kind of just a diagonal piece of wood going across the door. And just shade these in so you can see them. Okay, great, we're getting there. So at this point now I'm going to come back to my central line and I'm going to mark 5 millimeters, each point at every 5 millimeters. 5 millimeters is half a centimetre. So every half a centimetre, just make a little mark going down the central line. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get each of these points, and on the left, to the left of the central line, I'm going to line it up with the vanishing point on my left. So it's lined up, the ruler's lined up in the vanishing point on my left. And I'm just sliding it up to meet the marks. I'm drawing these lines, making sure that the ruler stays on the vanishing point on the left, that it doesn't slip off. Great. And now on things that's to the right of the central line, I'm going to bring it to the right vanishing point. So I'm just going to mark in these lines, making sure that the right vanishing point is in alignment, and just moving my ruler up to meet those little marks. Okay, so what do I do with the gable end? Well, what I do is I come back to my central line, and I'm going to mark in another couple of increments of half a centimetre. So I'm going to do 6 of them. And 6. Now I've got these points, so again I'll mark it, line it up with the vanishing point on my right to these points, and I draw the lines in. Great. So just to make that roof look like it's overhanging on the back, I'm just going to bring it out a tiny little bit from where I've drawn already, and then I'm going to line it to the right vanishing point and just do that little corner that's going off behind the building. Great, so it's beginning to look like a log cabin now, which is great. So I'm just going to darken up the window frames a bit there with my 4B pencil. Okay, so now what I'm going to do to make this kind of look like a log cabin, I'm just going to do a little trick where I'm kind of curving to the left, to the right, to the left, to the right, all the way down, alternating down to make it look like it's logs. You don't have to be too detailed. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to shade in every second one using my 4B pencil. So I just pick one to start with and I shade it in, then I skip one and I shade the next one in, skip one, shade the next, and the whole way down. Now for the other side of the building, what I'm going to do is alternate. So if it's shaded there, and it's the one below it, and above it, that will be shaded. So I'm just going to shade that in, skip one, shade the next, and so on. Okay. So this particular picture had blinds in the window, so I'm going to get the blinds in. So I line up with my left vanishing point to the windows that are to the left of my central line. I decide where I want my blinds to be and I just mark them in. And then I just shade underneath the blinds, making sure that I can still see the panes of my window. I have to maybe have to darken them up a little bit, that's fine. Okay, so now some extra stuff. So there's an indication of a tree. You do not have to go into detail here, just do wibbly wobbly line. And there's some scrub brush, so I'm just going to do wibbly wobbly line where I can see them in the picture. I can rub out the excess, and then you're going to use scribble hatching just to fill them in. Now for the path, you can do it with the path any way you want, but I'm going to show you a way to do it with the vanishing point. So I line up to the right vanishing point and the corner of the door. So that's the right corner and the left corner. And now you have a path. And the chimney, I just decide which side where the light is hitting and I shade in the other side. Great. So now I can rub out some of my excess lines, some of my working outlines. And I can go over with 4B pencil to darken up some of the lines that I know are correct. At this stage you could leave it like this, but if you want you could get either a pen or even just a black biro and basically go over the whole thing again with black biro. And I'm going to speed this up just to show you how it was done. You do not have to do this stage if you don't want to. You could leave it just at pencil, but just to show you the options. So again, I'm making sure that I have everything lined up correctly. I do my wibbly wobblies going down the edge of my building. And I just go over the lines that I've done already. If I need to fix any lines, I fix them. So I'm just going to darken up the window frames as well. And I'm using my vanishing points when I'm doing the horizontal lines to make sure that everything is correct. So the advantage of doing it in pen or biro is that you can really rub out all your other marks afterwards, which might be a bit tricky if you just were to leave it in pencil. But that means now that I need to come back in and shade my logs again, every second one, remember. And that's it done. Alright, give that a go, guys. I know it's a bit technical and difficult, but if you master it, your drawings will look better. Happy drawing!